We start our movie with two young brothers, Zach and Gray, getting ready to visit their Aunt Claire. Not only just being their aunt, Claire also happens to be the manager at Jurassic World, which is a big-style reboot of the comprehensive dinosaur theme park located off the coast of Costa Rica. Once the brothers get there, they're met with their Aunt Claire. However, she's far too busy and also a little awkward around them, and instead pawns them off to her assistant Zara for safekeeping. We are then introduced to Claire's boss, Simon Masrani, who is the current owner of the park. Together, the two go to a special enclosure to make Claire see the Indominus Rex, a new hybrid dinosaur that has been made by genetic modification. They explain that the Indominus is a culmination of a whole bunch of different dinosaurs, including Tyrannosaurus Rex, Velociraptors, and several others. While the two are impressed with their creation, they aren't exactly sure how the dinosaur is going to react to outside forces. Masrani tells Claire that she should bring Owen over, as Owen is an expert on dinosaurs. We are then introduced to Owen, who is not only the raptors' handler, but also their trainer. He is feeding his velociraptors and teaching them to obey his orders. We're then introduced to Vic Hoskins, who is the head of InGen Security. Hoskins praises the raptors as well as Owen's teaching, and decides to try and impress upon Owen the importance that they be used as weapons, where Owen shoots down the idea vehemently. Soon after, though, a worker accidentally falls into the raptor paddock, and the raptors start to try and attack him. Owen, however, jumps down after him. It's shown that the raptors are trained very well, as they don't attack Grady immediately. Grady's able to get the employee out and also give him a warning, while the raptors look on, a little annoyed. Claire then meets up with Owen at his trailer and convinces him to come with her in order to observe the new dinosaur. Owen expresses his suspicions about how this is going to go, with the Indominus not having any sort of social interactions whatsoever and being held up in a tiny cement box. However, when they get there and perform a thermal scan, it's shown that there's no dinosaur in the enclosure that it can register. This causes the group to believe that the dinosaur has somehow escaped. Owen and two other employees enter the enclosure to examine the claw marks that the creature made on the wall, but as it turns out, the creature is still in the enclosure. Claire, who stayed behind to monitor things, warns Owen and the other two to exit immediately. However, the Indominus then appears and attacks them, killing and devouring one of the staff. Owen and the other staff member do escape the containment door just as it's closing, but the Indominus crashes right through it. Both Owen and the other staff member hide in the cars, with Owen hiding under one and the other staff member hiding in front of one. The other staff member is killed when the Indominus sniffs out that individual. Owen is able to escape though when he's being scented out by dousing himself in petrol from under the car that he's hiding in, causing the Indominus to move on and look for other prey. With the danger apparent, Masrani then sends out a special squad to apprehend the escaped dinosaur. The Indominus has a tracker device that's been surgically implanted into it, allowing the squad to track it. They hunt it with a mixture of lethal and non-lethal weaponry. The squad are able to find its location, but rather than finding the entire Indominus at first, they instead find out the clawed-out tracker beacon. The Indominus then comes out of the trees, proving it can camouflage, and swiftly and brutally kills all of the team. We then flash back to Gray and Zach, who had given Zara the slip and head into dangerous territory in the park inside a gyrosphere, unaware that the Indominus is on the loose. We flash again to Claire and Owen, who are making their own discovery that the Indominus is killing other dinosaurs for sport and not for food. This is in order to establish itself as an apex predator. We then flash over to Masrani, who is now using his helicopter to try and fly after the Indominus. The Indominus, in their chase, smashes into the Jurassic World aviary and freeing several pteranodons and dimorphodons, who attack the helicopter and cause it to crash into the aviary. Not only does this kill Masrani and his passenger, but it also frees the dangerous animals inside. Zach and Gray, after having been attacked by the Indominus before, find a jeep that they commandeered and also were able to repair. They drive back to the park and find it in utter chaos as pteranodons and dimorphodons attack the guests, attacking them with their teeth, dragging them into the air and tackling them from the sky. They're then met up by Zara, who berates them for going off on their own. However, the reunion is short-lived, as a pteranodon then grabs her, drops her into the lagoon, and then picks her up again with a few other pteranodons. As she and the pteranodon rise again from the lagoon, the massive mosasaur then rises and eats both Zara and the pteranodon. Meanwhile, both Owen and Claire arrive. Owen attempts to take down some of the pteranodons and dimorphodons with a tranq rifle, however is beset upon by a very angry dimorphodon. Claire saves Owen by shooting it with a tranq rifle several times, and also reunites with her nephews. Masrani is now dead, and Hoskins decides to take command of Jurassic World and decides that they will use the velociraptors to find and kill the Indominus, while also bringing a private security force in with highly lethal weaponry. Owen confronts Hoskins and does attack him, however does reluctantly agree to help and releases the raptors to locate it while following them on various vehicles. They are able to find it, however it appears to communicate with the raptors. Owen then realizes that the Indominus was made by also using velociraptor genetic material. The raptors turn on the team and begin killing the soldiers while the Indominus escapes. Owen is confronted by one of the raptors and it seems to recognize him, however it is soon killed by a rocket. Barry hides in a hollow log while Blue attempts to get to him, however Owen distracts her and rides off on his motorcycle. Claire, Zach, and Gray are waiting in a truck but are quickly attacked by the raptors. They're able to drive away and escape them, and they meet up with Owen and drive back to the park while the raptors follow after the Indominus. Hoskins, meanwhile, starts to evacuate the place, with chief scientist Dr. Wu taking along various embryos for Hoskins' personal use. Wu evacuates by helicopter, making a comment about his employers. Owen, Claire, and the kids then find Hoskins packing up the laboratory. He then informs them that he plans to use the Indominus as well as other as-of-yet uncreated creatures to fight in wars. While he's confident this plan would work, he's suddenly attacked by a velociraptor. Owen, Claire, Zach, and Gray escape, but they find themselves cornered by the 3 remaining raptors outside. Owen approaches Blue, and he's able to re-establish his connection with the raptors, and then the Indominus arrives. Blue attempts to kill it, however she is thrown against a wall, and the other 2 raptors attack it, with Owen beginning to shoot it with his repeater rifle. Claire, Zach, and Gray, for their part, hide in a gift shop. The raptors are quickly killed by the Indominus, and Gray realizes that they don't have the power to defeat the Indominus, even with Blue still up and about. Claire then grabs a flare and runs out of the gift shop, talking to the head of security to disable one of the paddocks. She runs to a gate that slowly opens, lighting the flare, and out comes the Tyrannosaurus. Using the flare to lead the Tyrannosaurus, she runs back to the main part of the park, throwing the flare at the Indominus Rex, while the Tyrannosaurus triumphantly breaks open from a Spinosaurus skeleton displayed proudly. The Tyrannosaurus and the Indominus stare each other down, sizing one another up, and then with 2 roars, they charge. The fight is brutal, both sides taking very bad damage from both their jaws and in the Indominus' cases, their claws. However, due to the Tyrannosaurus' age as well as the Indominus' genetic adaptations, the Tyrannosaurus is quickly on the losing end of the fight. The Indominus prepares a killing blow. However, before she can deal it, Blue suddenly appears, charges the Indominus, and lights herself on it, clawing and biting at it. The Indominus attempts to shake Blue off to no avail as the Tyrannosaurus suddenly gets back up and starts to fight back. Through both the teamwork of both Blue and the Tyrannosaurus, they not only manage to badly wound the Indominus, but also force it over to the Mosasaur enclosure. The Indominus rises back up and is still ready to fight, however is interrupted by the Mosasaur, who lunges out of the ocean, grabbing the Indominus by the neck, and then pulls the freak of nature into the water, killing it once and for all. With the main threat dealt with, the Tyrannosaur and Blue share a look and both go their separate ways. Owens, Claire, and the 2 kids are then evacuated to Costa Rica. They meet up with the children's parents, and Claire and Owen walk out, both with a smile on their face. And then we have our final scene. Rexia lights on top of a building and roars into the horizon, now queen of the jungle once again.